In this tutorial for beginners, we are going to take a look at how we can make this effect vignette using Adobe Premiere Pro. So first you open up your Adobe Premiere Pro. Open the folder where you kept your clips on which you want to apply vignette. We particularly use this effect when we want to grab viewers' attention to the middle of the video. There are a few methods by which you can make this effect. Let me explain those.
Open up your Adobe Premiere Pro. You see, I opened my Premiere Pro. I come over here, the left bottom corner of my laptop, because over here is my project panel. This is my project panel. Yours may be here or somewhere else depending on your settings. You see over here, my current selection is my project. You can see my project name over here, Vignette 123. So you go and select your project panel. You see, this is my sequence. This 30 is my frames per second and it has great importance in this process, about which I'll tell you in a few seconds. Now get to clips in the timeline. Please follow what I'm doing now. I'm going to open the folder where I kept my files. So you see I drag and drop the desired files to here in my project panel and then to the timeline like this. Now let's just jump into the next step. First thing you want to do is to create an adjustment layer. Now I'm going to create an adjustment layer here. So I come here, all this little icon, and I suddenly get a little pop-up like this in which you see new item. Now I do a single left click there and I get this dialog box where I find this adjustment layer. I click on it and I get this box for adjustment layer. In this box, you will see some details regarding your video. By default, all of those are just what you assign to your sequence. If you want to confirm to that, you just hover your mouse over your sequence and you will get this pop-up in which you can see your resolution and frames per second. So you don't have to make any changes here. So you just click OK over here. Now you created your adjustment layer. You drag it onto your timeline and make it have the same length as your clip like this. Okay. Now both have the same length. There are a few other ways through which you can create your adjustment layer. I will explain those towards the end of this video. Okay, let's get back to our subject. Now we have to go to the effects. For that, I click on this double arrow over here and on the box on, I click on effects to bring them. Now I get this small box here. I write circle in there and soon enough I can see the circle effect among the group of elements below. Then I drag it from there onto the adjustment layer. After selecting the adjustment layer on the timeline, I go to source panel, which is on the top left corner of my screen, from where I select effects control section. Then I scroll down to circle effect. We have just added. The first thing we need to change here is the blend mode. Change this from none to stencil alpha. This is going to make your circle of the footage. You will see the change on the clip. Next, we want to change the radius of the circle, increase the amount so we can just about see a little bit of black in each corner. Here I give 950 and it's just a personal preference. After all this being done, you come over here and increase the further amount until you see some of the vignette coming into the scene like this. Here I give 450 and it's again a personal preference. So play around with it and see what you like. And that it is, our vignette is done. Now I give it a play and make sure it's alright. And it's as simple as this. I previously hinted about a couple of additional methods for creating the adjustment layer. I'll go over those now. So you just right click on your project panel like this and you will get this dialog box in which you find this new item here and bring your cursor of this little arrow right to it and you get another box like this in which the adjustment layer is available. Another way is to just click on the file menu, hover your mouse over the little arrow right next to new and you get a similar dialog box where you can see the adjustment layer like this. But for this option to work, you make sure that your project panel is active. Create new project or open an existing one. Then go to window menu and select lumetri color. And you will get this lumetri color panel. Toward the bottom of this panel, you see vignette over here. You have 4 parameters over here like amount, midpoint, roundness and feather. And the default values corresponding to them are 0 and 50. There are no hard and fast rules here. You just slide this little button so as to reach a result you like. The order I follow here is usually midpoint, amount, roundness and finally feather. So I slide the midpoint button to the extreme left. Then I change this amount. If you move this button to the left, the view darkens radially outwards. The center being the brightest and the edges being the darkest. If you move to the right, you will get the opposite effect. Thirdly, I change the roundness. I want a kind of circle around the middle to get it highlighted. So I slide to the right. Finally, I adjust the feather. You can use this turn on and off button to see the difference you brought to the scene by adding vignette. Here in this example, I use a single footage. If you have many clips and you want to apply vignette on all of them, then instead of putting vignette on all clips, you can create adjustment layer and then you can put vignette onto that. Then you will have a vignette applied on all the clips that come under the adjustment layer. This is the adjustment layer on which we put vignette. Now let's play this. You can see both clips shows vignette.